Today I want to explain one little portion of the Bengston Method that often makes people stop. They say it's too hard. And this is for you if you've tried the image drill and you thought, this is too hard, this is impossible, I can't do this. Let me just go get healed by Suzanne on her Facebook group or something like that. The way I understand image cycling is that there are three broad stages. The first is creating the list. And in this way, it's you create a list of things that you want that you don't have, about 20 different items, all different, variety of different things. And in this first stage, you're supposed to care about the stuff. You're supposed to care about the things you care about. You're supposed to become very conscious about the things that you want to create and have and savor in your life. You're supposed to feel the desire. You're supposed to attach emotionally to the mental pictures that you create. You're supposed to let yourself deeply, deeply want the things that you want. So that's phase one. The next stage is the image drill. And this is where the Bengston Method gets completely different than any other energy therapy that I've ever met. Okay? And this is where you take the images that you've carefully chosen, that you've carefully attached emotions to, and you begin flashing them quickly. Image, or image, or faster and faster and faster. So fast that you cannot stop and savor them emotionally. So fast you can't linger on the emotional pleasure of wanting that, or like, oh, that'd be so great if I had that. There's no time for that. When you're going this fast, you don't have time. You can flash emotions, you can flash images, but you can't flash emotions. Emotions take a moment or so to generate. And that is the point. The reason is that image cycling is not only about imagining what you want. And that, if it was, it would be the same as all the other positive thinking things, which are powerful, but that's not what this is. Image cycling is also, the way I understand it, is that image cycling is also about loosening the attachments to what we want. And this detachment matters not metaphysically, but it's just sort of common sense, right? That when we're all tangled up in desire, we're tangled up in our fears, our memories, our efforts, we're usually working from some part of ourselves that is already conditioned by the past. And we're wanting something new. So healing and manifestation seem to come more easily from the freer part of us that's not so caught in the pattern. So the practice does something very paradoxical. First, it asks you to care deeply, deeply, deeply about your desires. And then it asks you to run pictures of those desires through your awareness so quickly that the attachment cannot keep up. You sort of outrun it. And it engineers detachment. So in ordinary three-dimensional awareness, we're emotionally responding to things all the time. Our culture has taught us what to care about, or pain, different things, but we sometimes don't realize just how astrally, emotionally embedded we are in the fabric of our lives. If we see something beautiful, there's a feeling of pleasure or gratitude. If we see something unpleasant, we have a feeling, an emotion of resistance or repulsion. We remember something we want, we feel longing. We remember something we fear, we tighten. Emotion is just part of the fabric of what we live in, and that's normal. So it's very unnatural to flash images of things that you deeply, deeply care about. We're not just flashing numbers or words, we're flashing images of our dreams coming true, at a high speed without stopping to emotionally savor them. It's not how ordinary consciousness tends to operate. And that's why I think it's so powerful. It engineers the detachment. And this is not detachment as indifference, not detachment as I don't care, not detachment as spiritual bypassing. Real detachment only matters when you actually care. Like pretending not to care is not really detachment. Like knowing that you care and being able to separate from that is an act of freedom that accesses some part of us that is not accessible when we're embedded in the whole cause and effect of the emotions and the images and the things of our life. So the first phase of image cycling asks us to get clear about our desires, care about our lives, care about what we want to create, put our heart and soul into the list, like what you want wants you, all that good stuff. And then this second image drill asks us to run those desires past our awareness so quickly that we don't have time, our emotional hooks don't have time to grab. And this is a completely different process from simply visualizing what you want and feeling good about it. It's completely different. And if you haven't done it, you can experience it. It's not like anything that you've done if you've never done it before. And this is a drill. This is not the healing part of the Bengston method per se. I mean, they're all part of the healing, but this is more like a drill. And the best analogy I know is music or a sport. Let's go with music. So you sit down to play at the piano and you want to play a beautiful piece of music. And you might imagine the music. You may love the music. You may feel the emotion of the music. But unless you've trained your fingers, it's not going to sound that good. So you play the scales, you play your little hand exercises. You repeat the difficult passages till you can do them. You train movements. You put them so they feel super awkward, and then suddenly you're just able to do them. And these scales, these exercises are not the same as the music. But when your fingers have been trained, then something else can flow through. The genuine music can flow through. And it's not a matter of doing difficult things with your fingers when the flow happens. I know that for me, a concert pianist playing Row, Row, Row Your Boat just sounds different than somebody who can only play Row, Row, Row Your Boat on the piano. There's a different oomph that comes to it. So that's how I think of the image drill. It just gives some oomph to your hypercycling, which is the next phase. So I feel like that the healing game becomes, if the Bengston method becomes possible with the image drill. And of course, this is not the whole Bengston method. And sometimes people think they have to be doing that all day long. Image. They say that's impossible. You only have to do it for like 2 minutes a day, maybe 30 if you want to just really work on it for a while. But just know that it's not the music itself. It's not the healing itself. It's a drill. All right. And I think many people quit here because they expect a healing practice to feel loving and peaceful and expansive or devotional. They want, they expect to feel like they're filled with love and light. But, and that actually does happen during the healings, but this part of the Bengston method, in my experience, rarely feels like love and light. It feels like work. It feels like effort. It feels like I'm drilling at my edge. And I'm training my mind to do something it doesn't naturally do. And I'm building a skill. And as I'm working at it, I use a metronome and I see how fast I can go. Am I going 90 beats a minute? Am I going 200 beats a minute? Am I going 300 beats a minute? How fast am I going? And my edge changes day to day. Some days I'm so much faster than other days. It's quite remarkable. And then I think, oh, well, did I eat something different yesterday? Like, why am I able to do it so much faster today than I was yesterday? Anyway, your edge can change day to day, and everybody's edge is different. If you are 89 years old and you can't remember hardly anything, just looking at your list without it being memorized and just going through as fast as you can get the image is your edge. If you're 10 years old, which somewhere I heard is like the height of your ability to memorize when you're about that old, like 10-year-olds are really good at that, 9, 10-year-olds, and you have like an almost photographic memory, your edge may be 200 or 300 beats per minute or more, and that counts too. So the point is that not everyone reaches the same speed. The point is that, are you working at your edge? And having trained hundreds of people over the years, I find that it's not how fast you're going, it's are you working at your edge? Even if your edge is 40 beats a minute, like this fast. If that's your edge, that's your edge, and you do it. And almost always it gets faster if you let yourself accept yourself where you're at and let it be good enough. Then when you go to hypercycle, there's a different type of flow. At least it happens that way for me and a lot of the people I work with. All right, so so it's the stretch that matters. So when I do this stretching, I kind of feel into the field, and I have this intuitive sense that something's happening in the field. It's as though the field is making new connections or breaking other connections, and it's breaking up barriers and things like that. I either experience that when I'm doing the image drill, which sometimes I don't feel much other than effort when I'm doing that. But then later, when I do the hypercycling, when I'm just spinning without any images, not worrying about seeing anything, just sensing a spinning sensation, it feels like, oh my gosh, the barriers are different. There's an expansiveness opening up. And I find that happens in a deeper way after I've done the drill. Right. So let's see. So I'm not saying that this is how Bill would explain it or how it works. This is just my musings about it. But it does feel to me that the practice is bypassing some of the subconscious structures that we have in place that are kind of keeping our desires away from us. Because if we want something, it means we don't currently have it, right? And if we don't have it, even though we want it, we can sense the possibility of it. There's a block, there's habits, there's assumptions, there's subconscious connections that keep the current pattern in place. And I feel like the image, just it breaks up the pattern. That's how I experience it, at least. So when the images go very, very fast where we can still see them, not hypercycling where you can't see them anymore, but when you're actually seeing the images go fast, it feels as though I'm no longer negotiating with those patterns in the ordinary way. I'm not stopping to want. I'm not stopping to be afraid that I'll never get it. I'm not wondering if I still want it. I'm not explaining the story about why it's hard. I'm not managing it. I'm moving faster than my usual emotional attachments can organize themselves. And that's what makes this practice so different than any other energy healing method. So if you've been interested in the Bengston Method, or if you've tried image cycling and sort of skipped past this middle part because it felt too difficult, I would encourage you to reconsider it. And not with the idea that you have to do it all day long, just as a drill. Visit it for 2 to 30 minutes a day, not all day long. You just practice it. You find your edge. Okay? So it's kind of like doing scales. If you're doing tennis, it's like practicing your backhands. It's not the whole healing game. It's a discipline that gives your consciousness structure some holes in the matrix of the field of things that you allow to come to you. And like any discipline where something awkward eventually becomes available for something more alive to enter through, just welcome the difficulty. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it. It's happening. All right. Okay.